Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies and That. I'm your host Cody, and today we are going to be reviewing the new Blumhouse production Night Swim. Night Swim, directed by Bryce McGuire, I guess it's his directorial debut, based on the 2014 short, and it stars Wyatt Russell and Kelly Condon. The basic premise of this story is a young family that gets haunted and possessed by a pool for the most part. Now there's entities, there's more lore to that, but that's the basic premise here. My initial reaction is the movie wasn't terrible, wasn't great by any means. I was interested here and there, and it just really didn't hit home for me at the end, and kind of felt like a mid 2000s horror film in a way. Like I said, there was a few moments, and that's the thing, moments in this movie where I was kind of interested. I was never like scared or tense or anything like that, but it was okay. But real quick, if you're not familiar with my ranking system, which you probably aren't, I've only done a few reviews anyways. I do it on a letter grade scale, so A to F. So this movie is going to fall somewhere in there. I can tell you right now it's not going to be an A though. So let's go down and get to it. So the movie starts off with this little girl named Rebecca. She wakes up in the middle of the night. It's in the summer of 1992, and she hears this like remote controlled boat that's going around in the pool. It started off by coming up and out of the water, and then started, going up and around the pool. So she gets up. She tells her brother, who is also sick, I guess. His name's Tommy. And she's like, oh, I'm going to go get that boat for you. I know you like it and this and that. So she tries to go get it. So I'm not sure if it was their toy or if it's like a toy that they've been hearing at night that they've been wanting to get. That really was never explained either. But that toy boat does play a role when we get to the present day. So it makes me believe that that was part of the pool. It's like it was part of the spiritual aspect of the pool. So Rebecca goes down to the pool. She tries to get the boat with the net. Can't get it. But she keeps on trying, and then she gets yanked in. So the pool yanks her in. She goes in there. She's under the water, and she thinks she sees her mom. So she comes up. She's like, I'm sorry, I was trying to get the boat. And her mom wasn't there. So then she's like a little freaked out. She's trying to get out, and then she gets yanked down. The light in the pool starts flickering, and that's like, what happens. Whenever the pool starts doing its thing, like becoming like the possession part, the light starts flickering, like weird things start happening in the pool, and I'll get more into that later. But she gets yanked down, and she drowns, she dies, she disappears. And that's literally what happens. She disappears. There's nothing left of her. So then we fast forward to the present day. It's this young family, Wyatt Russell's and Kelly Condon's characters, who are named Ray and Eve Waller. Ray is a former baseball star, I guess, for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he had this like neurological disorder or something. He's sick, he can't play. I guess they left Milwaukee to get away from baseball because he can't do it anymore. So they're trying to like start like a newer life with just focus on him rehabbing, getting better. So that's how they come across the house. They're looking at houses. They come across this one. They weren't sure about it at first, but then they went to the doctor, and the doctor tells Ray, like, hey, swimming is a great rehab step for you. So then he starts thinking about it, and he's like, you know what? I like the pool, let's do it. So they buy the house, and actually, let me back up because I missed something before that. When they were touring that house, Ray actually falls into the pool. He was trying to get a baseball. He falls into the pool. When he's in the pool, he has this flashback to being in a baseball game, and like he finds the strength to get himself out of the pool, and like that theme recurs throughout the movie. Like they talk about how he envisioned himself prior to this to help him through stressful situations, and that happens again in another scene as well. So yeah, that's like that was like his first connection to the pool was when he fell in, and then the doctor tells him like swimming's a great thing. So then he's like, you know what, let's buy this house since it has a pool, and then it starts from there. So they move in. It's kind of as normal swimming. Nothing crazy. They are throwing or excuse me, they're diving for quarters. And actually, going too fast here. Let me back up again because when they're cleaning out the pool before that, Ray cuts himself cleaning out the drain. And there's like all this like black water comes spewing out of the drain. Then when they come to find out that the pool is actually a spring fed pool, which I never knew those were a thing, but evidently they are. So that actually gets the water from the spring. And the pool text talks about like healing with water and like the lore behind that. So that's like the first hint we get. So, anyways, families swimming as normal, things like that. But then we start getting some of the paranormal things start happening here. Elliot starts, seeing and hearing weird things in the pool. The cat actually dies. It was sitting on the diving board one night and sees something in there. He sees the boat. He sees that little remote control boat driving around, and he gets mad at it. And then next thing you know, he's dead. So next morning they're looking for the cat, can't find it, whatever. So it just goes on like that. I mean, I'm not gonna do it like I'm not gonna sit here and just lay out the whole movie because it's really just those paranormal moments that make up this movie. It's a complete mystery of why this stuff's happening. We end up seeing some like entities, like some creatures or monsters. I call them the pool monsters. And they remind me of like monsters from The Fog, the movie The Fog. That's what they look like to me. Like those old like dripping wet pirate monsters from The Fog or sailor monsters, whatever they were. That's what they look like to me. But anyways, all this stuff starts happening. Ray becomes more and more darker. Like he starts healing. He starts getting really better because of the pool. Like the pool was healing him. And everyone thinks he thinks it's great. And, his wife Eve and his kids are like noticing like a little bit of changes in behavior and not too sure that's good because it's kind of weird. And there's doctors like very surprised that he is healing this quick. So they end up having like actually, before I get to this, the daughter, Izzy, invites her new boyfriend over for, a night swim. And they're playing Marco Polo. The boyfriend gets out of the water. And whenever he gets out of the water, she starts hearing polo, but it's not her boyfriend saying it. It's one of the pool monsters. And she ends up getting like pulled down into the water. And like it goes, there's no bottom to the pool. It keeps on going down. She keeps on going down. And that's when she runs into one of the pool monsters. She freaks out. She's able to escape and get up, and then the boyfriend's like, you were only underwater for a couple seconds, like what's going on, are you okay? And she's like freaked out because it was definitely way more than a couple seconds. So it's kind of like a time warp thing in a way. I guess it bends space-time, I guess. It's paranormal. Like this movie like really reminded me, like it had elements of like some old school movies. Like I said, the pool monster is kind of like The Fog. It definitely has like a poltergeist feel to it. Just really like that, but it just doesn't hit home like any of those movies. The son Elliot, he's the one who really started seeing a lot of this stuff first. Like he started when he'd go underwater, he'd think he'd see his mom or he'd see his dad. He'd come up, there's no one there. He would actually hear and talk to Rebecca, the little girl, and he tells his mom about that. His mom's a little freaked out by all the events going on, and she talks to the realtor, I believe her name's Kay, who sold her the house, asks her, like, what's going on? She brings up the name Rebecca, and the realtor's like, how did you know that name? So right then and there, the mom, Eve, knows something's up, something's bad. So she's doing research on Rebecca and the house itself and seeing all these mysterious disappearances and mysterious deaths and things like that associated with the house. So she knows there's something wrong with the pool. There's something going on here. So she tries to track down Rebecca's family, which she does. And this is what I don't like. So I know the movie was trying to be mysterious and like, set up for what we got at the end. But by the time that they introduced what the lore was, why the pool was doing what it was doing, I mean, there's only about 15 minutes left in the movie. Like, we hear the lore, and then it's a whole climax ending, and that's it. Like, we understand why everything's going on, but I don't know. I feel like they could have introduced it a lot earlier. Now, it didn't have to be at the beginning, but maybe towards the end of the second act there before we got into the third act, and really find out what was causing this. Because, like, that's another thing, too. Like, the dad, Ray, like, he started getting a lot more darker, especially after they have this pool party. Like, he almost kills this one kid who was a kid he was coaching for baseball. At the pool party, they almost both drowned, but he was, like, getting possessed by the pool, literally possessed. So it's like, after that, then we get introduced to the lore, and then Ray becomes full on, like, possessed demon by the water. So we find out that the water itself, it's like, I guess, this Japanese curse or something like that. I think it was Japanese. That the water will heal you, but in turn you have to sacrifice something in order to get that healing. So Eve finds Rebecca's mom. She's an old lady. She's on oxygen. She's sick. She's old anyways. So they start talking. At first, Rebecca's mom tries to completely ignore that Rebecca even existed and talks about her son Tommy. Finally, the Eve's just like, enough playing games. Like, listen, we know about Rebecca. My son knows who she is. He talked to him. We know. So that's finally when we find out the lore, is because Rebecca's mom finally tells Eve that. And what happened was, in order for Tommy to get better, to live and become successful, I guess he was a successful, not a politician, but I think USAID worker, something like that. Anyways, working in DC. Really successful, really rich. In order for him to get better and become that, the pool did that for Tommy, but she needed to sacrifice something. So she was already possessed by the pool, so she sacrificed her daughter Rebecca. So we do a flashback scene and find out that she was never going to save Rebecca. She watched Rebecca die, which is very messed up. Watched her own daughter die, in turn saved her son. Her son became rich, and that's another thing. Like, well, I guess, I don't know. I mean, if the lore says, like, you're gonna have health and wealth because of the water, maybe, I guess she did. Because I was like, how did she know that her son was going to become successful at this pool? Brought her son to full health. But anyways, so they get back home, or Eve gets back home. Elliot thinks he hears the cat again. He goes out to the pool, thinks the cat is on a float in the pool. It's not. He goes in the pool, or one of the monsters comes out and takes him down in. So he sinks down at the bottom of the pool. His mom jumps in to help, or to save him. And then the dad actually starts attacking Izzy. He's full on possessed now, going nuts. And doesn't try to kill Izzy. He's just trying to tell, like, he's hitting her. He's like attacking her, but he's trying to say, like, this is for the best. Elliot needs to die because I'm going to be better. I'm going to be a baseball star again, and we're going to live happily ever after, things like that. So he thinks he took care of Izzy, so he was going out to get Eve, and I guess, I don't know, not kill her, but like stop her from saving Elliot. But she already saved him at that point. Got him out of the pool, but while they were in the pool, all the way in the depths of it, all the people that the pool has taken were in there. So it's kind of like a Shining moment in a way. Best way I could actually describe it is like Doctor Sleep when they go back to the Overlook Hotel, with all the souls coming in. That's kind of how it felt to me. That's just what I thought of it. So it had like a Shining Doctor Sleep vibe with all the souls that were in there trying to actually they were trying to take them, but then they broke free, and Rebecca actually comes in and shows them the way, because they thought they were swimming up, but they were actually swimming down, and Rebecca took this quarter that the dad gave Elliot to throw in, and it had a smiley face on it and Sharpie, and she flipped it up and saw it was sinking down, but it was like upside down. So it was, weird stuff like that. They get out. Dad's going to, finally kill Elliot, but Izzy comes back with the baseball bat, beats the hell out of her dad, literally knocks the water out of him because he was possessed by the water, the black water. You could see it running through his veins and things like that. Same thing that you actually saw with Rebecca's mom, both in the flashback and whenever we saw her in the present day. And yeah, he comes back too. But then, since he came back too, the water transferred the possession to Elliot. So the dad realizes like he needs a sacrifice. It's not going to stop unless the sacrifice happens. So he sacrifices himself. He dies. Then we fast forward to after the events. They're standing at the pool. The pool's drained at this point. They're wondering, Eve, Izzy, and Elliot, like, should they leave? Should they stay? And they're like, no, let's stay, because if we leave, this is just going to happen again. Dad wouldn't want that. So they stay. They end up filling the pool up with concrete, and the movie ends. And really, that's what it was. Again, nothing special. I know I've seen a bunch of terrible reviews for it, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong. I mean, I don't want to say it's terrible because it's not a terrible movie. I've seen worse, but it's not good. It was a little bit of original, especially with things like a water possession and swimming pool and things like that. I'll give it that, but just the writing, the characters were all right, but it was really just the writing and the story itself that made it really feel like a mid-2000s horror movie. Definitely a PG-13 type of horror movie. Like there's no gore. There's not really any kills for that matter. Really wasn't that scary. So yeah, it might appeal to a PG-13 crowd, a younger crowd for sure. That's not really familiar with horror movies. I just want to have fun, sure, but not going to work for me. It really doesn't work for a lot of people from what I've been seeing. But go ahead and give it a shot. Again, not terrible, not good. I'm not going to watch it again. But I'm glad I went and saw it. Something different. So I'll give it that. Definitely something different. But with that being said, I'm going to give it a C-. Almost gave it a D+, or a D. Thought about it, but I'll give it a C- just for the creativity and the way it looks, the direction of it. I thought that was really good. That definitely saved it for sure. Yeah, so with that being said, guys, if you like it, go ahead and give me a like, subscribe to the video for more, and thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day.